Hello, this is Heath Johnson with NCSI. In this video, I'd like to show you how to add alerts to the self-service homepage that rotate automatically. And as you can see in my self-service page here, this is rotating automatically between three different alerts, different colors, different icons, and I'll walk you through all that. In previous versions, there is what's called a docked carousel at the top of the page for the self-service portal, and this would show urgent announcements where you would have to click on these arrows on either end to get back and forth between the urgent announcements, and that's the functionality of the docked carousel widget. However, in more recent versions of Service Manager, the docked carousel or the urgent announcements were removed altogether from the self-service page. Regardless of your configuration, I'm going to use a banner widget instead of a docked carousel widget, and I'm going to briefly go over the pros and cons of using each. So I'm going to go into the administrative mode of the self-service page and add in we'll just do a placeholder for now. If we looked at the docked carousel widget, one of the nice features is we have an empty text field. So if there are not any urgent announcements, you can type in something in this field and the text would automatically show up in the docked carousel if there were not any published urgent announcements. The downside of this, using a docked carousel like I mentioned before, was there is nowhere to set the rotation automatically. This is the one where you had to click on the arrows at either end of the docked carousel to advance or go back to the different urgent announcements. So in order to set up the automatic rotation, we would use something called the banner widget. And the nice thing about this one is we can do an update interval. So this is where we would set the update interval to a few seconds or more. The downside of using a banner is there is no empty text field. So if you do not have any alerts or urgent announcements, then what happens is this. You get a plain white banner up top with the text. There's no data to display, which is not very helpful, not very intuitive, and not very good looking at all. So part of this video, we're gonna work around that issue, and so we'll take care of this. That way, if there aren't any current or alerts, then we'll automatically have another alert that basically says there are no current alerts, all systems operational, or whatever text that you want to have show up. I'm going to be switching between two different browsers. So the first one will be mainly in self-service or to switch roles for testing. And then the other one will be what I'm going to use for configurations, and I will just stay in the administrator role in this one. So I'm back here on the alert workspace, and I have my alerts up. And so what I want to do is create an alert that is going to be the parent of all the alerts, and it's also going to be the one that says, hey, there's no current alerts, have a great day, or something to that effect. But first, what I want to do is go to pick list and modify the alert severity pick list, edit the values, and then add just a none value for the alert severity. Okay, and go back to new alert. Actually, I want to refresh to make sure I see the new drop-down value. And then I'm going to create a new alert. And like I said, this is going to be the parent, so you can give it whatever category you want. Status, you can keep it current. And description, I'm just going to put something simple like something like that. No current alerts. Have a great day. And this severity will be none. Okay. Now back on my list view, the configurations I'm going to show you will work as long as there is only one alert that has a severity of none, because this is going to be the parent alert that all these other alerts or any other alerts that you add will be linked to. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is go back to the configuration console and open up the alert business object. Click on the fields tab and add a new field. This one will just be a text field. And I'm going to call this temp linked rec ID. And this is just a field that's going to temporarily store the value, the rec ID value of the alerts that are linked to the parent alert record. And then if you want to give it a description, and what this also is going to do is this field is going to be used to trigger an update on the parent record, and that way it'll trigger either a workflow if you want to, but in our case it's just going to be potentially a bunch of triggered actions. I'm just going to keep it as text. It's a rec ID, so we'll just keep it at 32 length, and then click on add this field and save. Okay, the next step, we're going to create a relationship to alert to itself. And then I'm just going to copy the name of the relationship to the internal reference name, and then select 0 or many on both sides of the relationship, and this will create a many-to-many relationship. Now I tried to do this with a one-to-many or 0 or many, and it just, when I ran some of the expressions, it just wasn't bringing back all the results or all the information from the children or the related alerts. So I just had better success with doing a many-to-many relationship. Further down, we're going to add on the alerts fields. Select the new field that we created, the temp linked rec ID, and then we're going to update the parent alert or record. So this is the parent here on the parent, and this is going to be pulled in from the related alert, and that way it's going to trigger an update on the parent and set off some triggered actions. So this is kind of important here. Okay, once that's done, click on add relationship and then save. Okay, the next step, we're going to look at a save search. Now this is probably out of the box. The name might be a little bit different, so if you want to change the name, now's a good time to do it. So for mine, it's just all current alerts for self-service, and just want to make sure the status is equal to current. And if there's no changes, then we can move on to the next step. Otherwise, go ahead and make the changes and save your search. Okay, let's close this tab out. We'll close out the values tab. We don't need that anymore. And then go to the layouts, and then click on the alert layout. And on the form view, I'm going to add a child panel and call it related alerts. And we're going to use the direct relationship and select the alert associated alert relationship. Click on save, click on yes. On the toolbar, I'm going to drag all of these except for the go to the trash. Click on save. The list usually sees the alert list that's there, the form. You can select any form. When you double click on a record, doesn't matter. We can just do the read-only one for now. And then on the hidden expression, I only want to have this show on the parent alert record. And I want it to be hidden where the severity is not equal to none. So this should only show up on the parent one, not on any of the related incidents. And then we can show the count in the title. Once all that's done, then let's click on save. Okay. Go back to your business object, and then we're going to open up quick actions and create a new one. And this one is going to be an update object. And the title I'm going to give it is update status on no current alerts. And then check automatically save. And then you can give it a category if you want. And then down on the field, select status. And I'm going to paste in an expression. And what this expression does is it's going to check all the children that are related to the parent object, which is going to be this alert that has a severity of none. And if any of the alerts are closed, if all the alerts are closed, the related alerts, then the parent alert will be set to current, or the status. And if there are any of the related alerts where the status is current, then the parent status will be set to closed. That's how this expression is going to work. Okay, so that's done, and then this will be used in a triggered action that we'll configure in just a bit. Okay, once that's done, let's create some business rules. Now, there are going to be a few business rules that need to be created, and they're going to update the parent alert, which is the no current alerts, in different scenarios. So the first one is going to be if it's updated, then it's going to run the expression that we just saw. Then if any of the related alerts are updated, deleted, and then it's going to update the parent alert as well. So this one, I'm going to name, actually this one is going to do the linking. We'll call it link new alerts to no current alerts, which is the parent. So on insert, and then on the condition, any alert where the severity is not equal to none, this is going to run against. Click on next, select configure new action, and then do a search and link. Click on next. Relationship is going to be the alert associated alert. And then we're going to say where the severity, the alert severity is equal to none. Okay. So the next triggered action we're going to create is going to be when the parent alert itself is updated to run this. So on update of the business object or the record, and as long as the severity is none, this is going to run. Okay, the next action we're going to select is update object, and then click on next, and then find the status field, and we're going to paste in that same expression that we used before for the is true for all children. Okay, so click on next or save, and then save again. All right, and then let's click on another or create another triggered action. Now this is going to be one where if any of the related alerts are deleted or updated, it's going to update the parent alert. And then again, we'll put in a condition so that it's going to run on any alerts where the severity is not equal to none. And on this action, we're going to do a run for child. And then the relationship is going to be the alert associated alert. And the child object filter is going to be run only against the parent alert or the no current alerts record. Okay, so now that's done. That's most of the configurations on the application side. Now we need to switch over to the self-service side and configure that to put up the alerts banner. So I want to make sure I'm in the administrator role. Click on the configuration icon. And then over here on the left side, click on parts. And hopefully you have an archive folder. If you expand that out, there's already an alert banner configured that we can drag over to the top. And make sure that our configurations are good. So I want to make sure this is a banner widget because that's going to be what it will allow us to rotate the alerts automatically. Make sure it's pointing to the business alert or the alert business object, and then here's the save search that we looked at previously. And then you can adjust the limit of how many you see. Make sure severity field is selected here, description. I like changing this to either 3 or 4. If you have long descriptions, you might want to go 4, but 3 is usually enough to read and then switch to the next record without too much delays in between. Here are the actions. You can pretty much keep these the same. Now the next step is going to be the thresholds, and this is what's going to allow us to change the icon and the coloring. And I like to mix this up where my severity 1 is red, my severity 2 is an orange color because yellow doesn't show up very well or it's really bright, and then my severity 3 is blue, and then we're going to add one for none, and we're going to keep this one green. So I'm just going to move some stuff around here. And then I've got a color for the orange. Oh, that's not orange. Let's just come down here. Click on OK. Okay, and then on each of these icons, we'll select something a little different. On the severity one, I like keeping the exclamation point, so we'll keep that one. On the severity 2, I like putting in a warning triangle, which is further down towards the bottom. There it is. And then the value, I like, as far as like, not the value, but the severity 3, I like putting in the information logo, but it's pretty close to the exclamation point, so you might want to change that up. But just for this purpose, let's just put in a simple I for information. And then on the no severity, the none, you can do a checkbox so everything looks okay. And then down here below, make sure you check the icon box. And then I like decreasing this to 10. Then you can do a preview. Now this is the only one that's going to show up because all of our other alerts are set to close. And then once you save that, let's scroll this up so you can size it however you want, and then click on save. And we can get out of the administrative function. Okay, so right now there is no alert set, so we have our parent alert or the no current alerts showing up. And let's do some testing of all of our configurations. Let's switch back over to the configuration console or the application side. And I'm going to refresh, let's see, this work? Yeah, let's refresh this so we get our child tab here. Okay, we have 0 related alerts. I'm going to open up a few more alert windows or workspaces. And then we can start testing with these. Just makes it a little bit easier if there's multiple workspaces open. And open up one more. Okay. Actually, we need to create new alerts because that's how these are going to be linked. So I'm going to take some of these. And copy these off so I can paste them in and create some new ones so we get the linking action going. Okay, let's create a new alert. This one we're just going to give it just any category and status. Let's keep it closed for now. And then let's post in our internet down or paste it in. Give it a severity 1 and then save it. I can close the rest of these down. Okay, I'm going to come back to list view. I'm going to keep our no current alerts open. And then as you can see, the one triggered action we created to link the new alerts is working. I might need to refresh this. Okay, so we got our severity 1 linked, and let's create a few more. And we'll do alert number severity 2. Okay, if we come back to our list, refresh, now we've got both these are linked here. We'll see the status is closed and the status up here is still current. Let's create another, our third alert. So let's change the status to current. And we'll give this a severity 3. Let's save this one. If we come back to our parent one, our no alerts, refresh, you'll see the status has changed to close now. And then we've got all 3 of our alerts linked to the parent. Now jumping back over to the self-service side, refresh the page, and then we should only have the one alert showing up where the help phone lines are down. Okay. Let's go back here. Let's enable the severity 2. We'll change that to current. Jump back to self-service. Refresh. Now we should have both alerts showing up, back rotating automatically. Okay, jump back to the application. We'll open up the severity. See, which one do we have open? We have 1, 2, 3. We'll open up number 1 here. Okay, now on these, if I change the 2 alerts that are, let's refresh this one. The 2 alerts that are current, let's change these to closed and see if our status changes on the parent. So that'll be number 2. And then number 3. And then do a refresh. We see all these are closed down here. The status changes back to current. And then back on the self-service tab, if users log in or anybody refreshes their page, then we're going to get the no current alerts notification up there. Okay, so the one last item I want to test is deleting an alert. So we'll set this to current. Come back to our parent, do a refresh, and we notice that this has changed to close because now we have one of the child or related alerts is set to current. And we'll go check this. This is our severity 1 that we just enabled. And then now let's delete it as our last test. Click on the list view. And then on this one, we're going to delete the current one. And then if we come back here and refresh, we'll see the status is changed back to current. Both of these are closed. And then back on the self-service, do a refresh. And we have our no current alerts notification up there. This completes the configurations, and you can see there's a few moving parts to bring everything together and make it all work. But feel free to tweak it and make any adjustments you need. And it's just one way to do it. You might be able to get it to work with workflows to replace some of those triggered actions that we created. Hopefully this is helpful to you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Have a great day.